Good morning. Good morning. So $3,000 in 3 days. Now, what does that exactly mean to you guys? What does that exactly mean to me? So, question: would you spend $3,000 for a 3-day mastermind with 9 individuals, one of them being the actual master at what he does, to teach you a skill that you can take back home with you, put it to use, make money, and teach others? Would you do that? And the reason I asked that question is because this is something I just recently did. And the seminar or the mastermind that I actually ended up going to was a Morby Method mastermind with a friend of mine called Mundo Sanchez and the mastermind was held in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And he bought the property. He bought it on creative terms using a Morby method. And come to think about it, that's exactly where we're at, staying at his house for the entire seminar. So the question is, when I get people that, DM me or email me and want all this information and want me to help them out or want to do everything right, people tend to forget that me, myself, other people, we spend thousands of dollars on education to educate ourselves to become better at what we do, to understand the mechanics of what we do, and to make sure that whenever we have deals under contract, that these deals actually do close. So is it worth investing in your self-development? Is it worth investing in yourself? Or are you penny pinching the whole time because you want everything for free? It's kind of like when your friend has a business and he just started and you know that he's bootstrapped, you know that he's starting the business and he needs sales, and you walk into his restaurant, you walk into his venue, you walk into his pizza place, with which one of my friends has, and you ask for a discount. Is that fair? Is that fair to ask your friend for a discount just because you know him? I personally myself, I would rather pay more and then ask for a discount, because I know how hard it is to be an entrepreneur and I know how hard it is to own a business. And so what happened at this mastermind? Well, number one, my flight was delayed. So I ended up arriving there a little bit later, but not a big deal. And what was nice is that a lot of the people that were there, I've seen them at masterminds before, so we already knew each other, which is great. Remember the your network is your net worth, right? That is very, very true. They were there to learn exactly what I was there to learn. So they were all there willing to spend the money to get educated on this way of creative finance. And people ask me, well, was it worth it? Because you already know how to do this. You've done these deals. You know what? I'll tell you this much. I would do it again. And the reason I would do it again is because not only would I would get to hang out with really cool people from Sub 2 that have the same mindset, have the same goals, we all align together. But every single time you go to these different masterminds or these different events, you bring something back with you. It's very difficult to learn everything at one time, right? Unless you actually put it to use or you do it again. For me, I took a lot of nuggets from this mastermind. It was a 3-day mastermind, and I learned a lot. A lot of my fears that I had in doing certain things have gone away. I have seen the mechanics of exactly how the deal works from a transaction coordination perspective. I've seen how the deal works from a capital partner perspective. And I've also heard how the mechanics work from a lender perspective. So this mastermind not only showed me the mechanics of everything, how to pitch it, which I already do, of course, but everybody always has their own little flair that they put on there. and how to make sure that the deal is structured so it goes smoothly, what to do, what not to do, what kind of problems can arise, what to ask the DSCR lenders, what kind of questions to ask the transactional lenders, and overall, just to make sure that the seller feels confident and protected. And when they're doing this deal with you, because in the end, you want to get this deal to the finish line. And so we did a lot of we did live calls to agents, we did live calls to title companies, we did live calls to lenders. We saw exactly what kind of questions were being asked. We saw the different contracts that were being sent out. Certain things, like for example, that I was missing on some of my contracts, and I got stung on this before recently, where a seller actually kept all the appliances and sold them back to us. So now I know what to put on the contract. Certain verbiage like, appliances come with the property but have no value. That's one of the conditions. That have no personal value. That's one of the conditions that a lot of lenders will give you. So you got to be careful for that. So you guys have to really understand that when you want to work with someone, and someone that's actually doing things on a higher level, understand that it costs them a lot of money to be where they're at. They didn't do it for free. Some maybe got lucky and figured everything out by themselves and are doing it perfectly, but that's a very, very small percentage of people. Even myself, I've done Morby methods before, but now I feel more confident doing the Morby methods. Now I have a good friend that I can contact if I have a question, if I have a scenario to run by him. One of the things that I've seen is how he calculates the costs involved, and how he calculates when we're supposed to get out of, when the seller finance comes around, how many years should we have on this loan, and it doesn't make sense for us. Is it feasible for us? I mean, there's just so many mechanics, because you don't want to get stuck in a position where you can't refinance the seller out. You always have to have the seller's best interests at heart. That's one of the biggest things you have to have in this business. If you don't have that, you will fail miserably. You will be so stressed out, anxious when that balloon comes. So for example, I've seen people accepting balloons, which is when the note is due, in like 3 years, 4 years. I've seen deals out there that are, people are pitching, hey, seller only wants a 4-year balloon. And you have this person that's like super excited. Yeah, I want that deal. It sounds like a great deal. But in the end, is it a good deal? 4 years? 4 years flies by like that. What if the market stagnates? What if it goes into consolidation? What if the market drops? How are you going to refinance your seller out? And if you can't, they'll start foreclosing on you. You start going to court. It'll become a court battle. Do you have the energy? Do you have the capital to fund all this? So you really have to be careful when you're negotiating. Guys, remember, this is real estate. These are big assets worth a lot of money. Contracts are contracts, right? They're pieces of paper. But once you sign those contracts and you are the owner of the property, you better make sure you have a really good exit plan. You know how to operate that property. You know how to do everything. And so with this mastermind, what I've learned and what it taught me is there's a lot of just deals that are just not going to work, no matter how hard you try. And the seller needs to have some sort of motivation behind them in order for these deals to work, because it cannot be one-sided, right? The seller cannot get everything and you're down here and you agree to it, because it's not going to work out for you. So it has to balance out some way or the other, like a scale. It just has to balance out for both the seller and the buyer. And so I was in Pigeon Forge. We ended up going out to a lumberjack show, which was really fun. I've never been to one before. We got more closer. Everybody is just such a hard worker. You have laptops at night. Everybody's going to sleep pretty early because we were up early in the mornings, like around 7:30 every single day, and just straight learning, and it's great because we ended up talking to some attorneys, some transaction coordinators on a live Zoom. We were able to ask a lot of questions, and we have like the full blueprint on how to do Morby methods and how to ask the right questions. What I really liked about the seminar is the demeanor of the actual person that was organizing it, which was Mundo Sanchez. He has such a calm demeanor about himself. He's very calm, relaxed, and when he speaks with confidence, and he knows how to ask the right questions, and he knows how to put things together because he's done so many of these. And so I ended up learning a lot. Especially I underestimated a lot of the closing costs that were involved in these loans. And so now I'm not going to do that anymore. And just overall, a great mastermind to be at. And I'm ready for my next one. Honestly, the self-development is huge for me. I'm really big on it at this point. As you know, I'm part of Sub 2, of course. I've learned so much from Sub 2. I've learned so much from a lot of people. Now I'm getting back into the lending portion of it. So I'm learning a lot about the DSCR loans, how to structure them properly, how to bring in capital partners, how to make sure the operating agreements are filled out correctly. Just so many mechanics of this deal. And so guys, when you're new to this, please, like when you reach out to somebody that you want to do business with, and if you don't want to joint venture with them, like just remember, like these people's times are so valuable. Like they've put so much time and energy into educating themselves. They've made so many mistakes. They've lost so much money that it's not, you're not going to get it for free. Like it's just not going to happen. Like somebody can give you advice here and there, but you can't be blowing up somebody's phone every single day expecting to get high level C-suite executive advice. It just doesn't work that way, because like for me, for example, I don't have the time really anymore to sit there and talk to people all day about certain things, because we have deals coming in left and right to us. And so my priority is on the money making activities, because that's how the business runs. If you want to work with me, then I will go ahead and I will introduce you to one of my acquisitions managers to first sniff out the deal, do the underwriting sniff test, make sure the agent's motivated, make sure that the seller is motivated, and then we can move forward. And then I could take a look at the deal after my acquisitions manager takes a look at it, because in the end, not all deals are good deals. Like I said, I personally myself, I would never ever take a balloon shorter than 5 years. Just keep that in mind. And if there's a balloon for 5 years, there's got to be an extension clause for at least 3. And the reason I say that is because one of my good friends in Sub 2, he took one for 5 years. Maybe people took one for 5 years. It flew by so fast, and he bought the property in an area that didn't appreciate as much as in other areas. And he wasn't able to refinance the seller. So he had to bring in a private money lender, a private money partner, and they had to go ahead and take the seller out. So you got to really be careful. You got to make sure that the deal is good for you as well. Okay, that's one of the biggest things, guys. Tomorrow at 6:00, we're having a event in Schaumburg, Illinois. It's a Sub 2 event. I hope to see all my Sub 2 friends there. Looking forward to seeing some new faces. It's going to be at 6:00. It's in Schaumburg, Illinois. All the information is on my Facebook page. Also, you can find it on my Instagram stories, and it's on eventbrite.com. If you guys are looking for transactional lending, so if you're a wholesaler, or if you're looking for lending for Morby methods, feel free to go to creativefunds.com. That's with a K, creativefunds.com, and you can go there, and we'll be able to assist you and help you find the funds that you need for your transaction. And it's very easy. You fill out the information, we take a look at it. One of the partners of the company approves it, and then you're good to go. But if you're new and if you want to do this, then you have to understand that when you work with someone like myself or my team, we are going to facilitate the whole process for you so you can get to the closing table. I cannot tell you how many times I see people fail at this because they think that they know how to do it, and it's not that easy. Okay, it's not that easy. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of mechanics to this transaction. It is called the Morby method. Some call it the stacking method. Whatever it is you want to call it, there's different ways to get this done. But we're going to be going over some of the deals that we have done that we have done already, and that we have some in process. So those deals are going to be going over in depth tomorrow at the actual event. So I'll be going over probably about two to three deals, maybe 4 deals. We'll be doing a breakdown of everything and how we found them, and how we talk to the seller about them and everything else, and how it is I get them under contract and all the other good stuff. But the biggest thing is networking. We're going to network a lot, right? We're going to do speed business networking. We're going to have a good time doing that. And you're going to be, by the time you get out of the event, you'll basically know everybody's name. So it's tomorrow at 6:00 in Schaumburg, Illinois. I hope to see everybody there. This weekend has been definitely an eye-opener. Not like I said, it allows me to understand what questions to ask certain parties in this transaction, and how to make sure the seller stays involved, how to make sure the seller feels confident in you, your partners, your company, and everything that you're doing. And so remember, guys, have integrity, please, in this business. Appreciate, respect everybody else's time, and make sure that you're always putting the seller's best interest first. Okay? Because it's all about your sellers. Without your sellers, we have no business. And you want to be a good person. You want to be known as that person. Hey, I did right by my seller. I did right by my partners. You want to end up with a good reputation, because one bad deal could sour a lot of different things. And so with that, I want to say thank you for being here with me on the Creative Mike Show. My name's Creative Mike, and as always, stay creative, my friends.